Mr. Shriver, it's a pleasure to welcome you, also to have this interview with you. My question is the following. What's the positioning of Special Olympics for you? You told me about the 50 years experience of our movement. Can you please tell us more about this positioning?
I think the exciting thing about Special Olympics today is that our athletes are offering the world a powerful example for how to solve the biggest problem we have. Ironically, people with intellectual disabilities who are seen as being people who have challenges or deficits or disabilities have enormous gifts when it comes to healing the fear of difference. All over the world, we see country after country, community after community, struggling. How are we going to overcome our fear, whether it's based on old religious differences or ethnic differences or national differences or cultural differences or economic differences? Wait a minute, we don't need those people. We can't get along with those people. Into this moment comes the athlete of Special Olympics, showing us how to meet, how to have fun together, how to compete together and learn and develop skills together from a point of view of competence and joy, and ultimately how to get along together. So in our view, the Special Olympics movement today is ready to take on the challenge community by community to teach the world how to be inclusive.
So the athletes will become teachers?
The athletes are the teachers. In so many ways, we have it wrong. We think of them as people with disabilities. But in so many ways, they have unique gifts. And when we see those unique gifts, our hearts open, our eyes open, our voices become different, our behavior becomes different, and we start to see the common gifts of the human family. And when we see from a point of unity, from a point of common ground, from a point of beauty in one another, we start to see the world with the possibility that we can actually get along.
If you have to describe a successful inclusion, how do you see it?
I see schools where the athletes of Special Olympics and their non-disabled peers have come together and said, we want to play in a unified sports team. We want to have a Special Olympics team that has people with and without intellectual disabilities on the team together. And when they play that way and people start cheering for them, the people in the stands, their eyes open up and they see the athlete with Down syndrome and he's running down the court and he's shooting the basketball and he's making the basket and he's getting the high five from his friend who doesn't have Down syndrome. And the person in the stands sees a different way of being in the world. And the school starts to change. We see the same thing in hospitals and healthcare systems. The doctor cares for the person with an intellectual disability. All of a sudden the doctor changes. We see the same thing in sports clubs. The athletes are allowed to come into the club. And then the club that used to be very much about winning and very much about defeating other people and very almost aggressive, yes, still competitive, but now all of a sudden open to the joy of sport for everyone.
Can you say that the world is more than ever ready to open their heart and their...
I think the world needs the athletes of Special Olympics more than ever. And I think the world is ready to listen and learn from the athletes of Special Olympics. We just have to make sure that every school, every early child care center, every medical institution, every sports club in the world includes people with intellectual disabilities. If we make that a reality, and it's doable, this is not crazy, this is not a fantasy, this is not, I want to send a man to live in another galaxy. That may be 1,000 years away. We can do this. We can make every early child care center have a Special Olympics young athletes, every school have a Special Olympics unified sports team, every club have a Special Olympics program, every healthcare institution have healthy athletes and healthy community. We can do this. And that, I believe, is what the world is hungry for.
And if you have a last message for the parents and then a last one for the potential sponsors.
Well, I think the message to the parents is be proud of your children. Be proud of your children. We, on our movement, are so excited to be with your kids. We live for the chance to play with your children. We don't do it because we have to. We're not here because we're a charity. We're here because we've chosen with our hearts and with our lives that we want to play with your children and all of your children. Don't ever say to me that, well, my child can't do this or my child can't do that. We want all of your children. If your child can walk, great. If your child can't walk, bring them to us. If your child can speak, wonderful. If your child can't speak, bring them to us. If your child can run fast, bring them to us. If your child struggles to move at all, bring them to us. If your child doesn't control his arms, bring them to us. We want to play with your children. We want to be with your children. So be proud of your children. We are proud of them too. To the world, to the sponsors, don't miss the chance. Your consumers, your regulators, your watchdogs, your boards of directors, your shareholders, they are interested to see whether you are a brand, a company that believes in the human gifts of each and every person. Side with the Special Olympics movement. You won't lose a single customer, and your brand will boom, and your employees will enjoy it, and I believe your whole company will be better for it.
Thank you. High five.
Thank you.